So people ask me, what do you think about Austin as a whole moving forward? And what I say is there are three pillars to a great metro area for strength. The first pillar is job growth.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Check.
Austin have job growth?
Check it.
I mean,
Substantial.
yeah.
Yeah.
From Tesla to Samsung to
Mm-hmm.
Micron to, well, I guess Micron didn't, they went to New York now, but to Oracle, Facebook, Google, blah, 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 blah.
IBM.
IBM,
Mm-hmm.
right.
And then you have the equity firms. You've got Vista here.
Yeah.
You know?
And then number two is population growth.
Yep.
Are we expanding?
I'd say check.
I'd say
Yeah.
big check,
Yeah.
right?
And this is when people are not having more babies, right?
Right.
We're inverted.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And then, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Workforce. But then what's the third one? And that's consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is the gas that drives all of those together.
Yeah.
And yes, there's some worry, a little bit of worry out there, but the consumer confidence about Austin and how its growth is going to happen. In fact, just the whole Texas corridor, the Texaplex, the Texas Triangle, that down from Fort Worth down to Houston to San Antonio, encompassing Austin, everybody loves it.
So if you're someone moving from another market, like what we've experienced over the last few, ever since I've been in Austin, you rarely ever meet anybody that you go, hey, where do you live? I live in Austin. Oh, I love that town. That place is amazing. I'd love to live there. And we've seen that, right? We've seen of course, the Californians have come here and they've come from all over the country. And, our message to them is just don't come here. Yeah, don't California us, right? That's right.
There's a reason you moved here.
That's right. Because this is a special place.
Yeah.
And what I tell people is I say, listen, Austin in the 90s was amazing, right? Austin now is amazing. It's just different. And those of us who have been here this time, do we love thinking about to the Liberty lunch days when you could go down to downtown Austin, catch some live music
in the 70s.
Yes.
I've literally so I do on the radio show that I do on KLBJ, and we'll talk about this Austin and its history and what's been going on with it, and we'll have people call in. They go, this one guy called in. He goes, "Man, all these people moving here and just get in the car on Mopac at the standstill. I can't believe all these people are moving here. When did they, blah 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 blah."
When did you move here?
I asked him. I go, "When did you move here?" He goes, 10 years ago. I go, "So you're who you're complaining about 10 years ago." I was complaining about you 10 years ago, mister.
Yeah.
And by the way, you have to have population growth. We saw back in 2009 when Detroit was losing, Cleveland was losing people, and it devastates
industry.
It devastates cities, right? So Austin has so many great things to it. I literally remember back in the late 80s working at Pearl's bartending, and some guy was in there like an old hippie. And he's like, "Man, if you've just here in the 60s and 70s, that's when Austin hit its heyday." And for me, the late 80s, early 90s, that's when Austin hit its heydays. And for my kids, it's like the 2000s. That's when Austin's at its heyday. You're right. It's all about perspective, right? I thought about this the other day back in like 1988, bartending. If you went back to 1968, that was just 20 years, and we are further away from 1988 than we are. In fact, you could probably go back to 1958, so 30 years.
That's 30.
So
we're over
even
30,
more.
yeah,
35. It's even more than that.
Yeah, 18 is 30.
So you could almost go back to the 40s.
Yeah.
Right?
It puts into perspective.
They were that close.
We were in a world war.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think.
Have you ever heard the thing about the pyramids and iPhones and Cleopatra? That the iPhone is closer in time to Cleopatra than the original pyramids
Are to her.
Yeah, she's closer in time to the
that,
iPhone than she was to the original pyramids.
How insane is that? Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that she was the last great pharaoh of Egypt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And supposedly very beautiful, but who knows back then?
Yeah. Who is it that played her in? It was Elizabeth Taylor. So if that's what she looked like, she was beautiful. Yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe
not.
Maybe not. Yeah,
Elizabeth Taylor.